Good day, students. How are you doing? This is me again, Mr. Michael Navarro, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the part 2 or the discussions on the examples of solving problems related to arithmetic series. Arithmetic series, determine the sum of the sequence 7, 12, 7, and so on, negative 38. So the same process will be involved. First, but we need to determine which of the two formulas is applicable to this situation. Okay, so you identify the given. So the given first term, the last term, the nth term, and the difference, which is negative 5. And you are going to solve for the n, right? And n is missing here. So if you have the first term and then you have the last term, therefore this one is suited for your solution. But you can still use this one. It's just this one is will help you get the answer quicker than this one. Okay, so first we need to solve for n first, okay, before we solve for the whole sum. So for us to solve the n here, we need to use the general term formula of an arithmetic sequence, right? So a sub n equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So the same values will be used. Whatever your a sub n, place it here. A sub 1, 17. Then n is missing, so therefore leave it as it is. Minus 1, then you substitute also the value of t. Then you distribute the negative 5. So negative 5 times n, that's negative 5n, and then negative 5 times negative 1, that's positive 5. Then you copy whatever the values in the left side. So what happened here is you combine the values. So for example, here 17 plus 5, 22, right? 22, and then you move it to the other side, or in formality. For formality, we use the addition property of equality. Okay, so we added something here to isolate the 5n, to make 22 becomes 0. So the solution goes like this: negative 38 equal to 22 minus 5n, right? Okay, and then for us to eliminate 22, we need to add or subtract something here to make it 0. So negative 22, so we subtract. Let's subtract, and then also on the other side. Okay, so this becomes 0, and then this becomes since they have the same sign, you add, so 60. Right, and then you copy whatever is on the left side now, the right side. Okay, so next is you simplify. Let's erase this first, then you simplify. So how do you simplify? So you simplify by dividing both sides the coefficient of n. So the coefficient of n here is negative 5, so divide both sides. So what's the goal of dividing both sides by the coefficient of n? So it is to isolate or to solve for n, basically, right? So negative 60 divided by negative 5, therefore n is 12. Okay, then we now have the n, which is 12, so we can replace these values here in the formula. So s sub 12, and then 12, then a sub 1, first term 17, and then the last term is negative 38. Okay, now we can get the sum of the 12 terms. So s sub 12 equal to negative 126. So if you're wondering why is it negative 126, you can add them first, or if you're going to follow the PEMDAS, so divide, this is 6, and then PEMDAS parentheses, so you add or operate whatever is in the inside of the parentheses, and then you divide this one, then you multiply. Alright, so here it is negative 38 plus 17, so how much is that? Negative negative again 17 plus negative 38 is negative 21, and then you divide it, you multiply it with the quotient here, which is 6, therefore you get negative 126. So the sum of the sequence is negative 126. Okay, next example. Every week, Mr. Santos increases his profit from selling cell phones by 250 pesos. His profit during the first week is 2,750 pesos. How much will his total profit in the 12th week? So solution, we identify first the a sub 1. Since there are no given sequence but only in the problem statement, or only the statement, you have to identify the first term, nth term, and the value of n. So your a sub 1, so first week, so it's 2,750. Then your difference, since your profit increases by 250, so that's your difference. And then your n is on the 12th week, so therefore your n is 12. Since the given values are a sub 1, n, and d, we use you don't have the last term, so you only have the difference, the n, and the first term. So therefore the formula that you're going to use is this one, the longer one. Okay, and then you substitute the values you have here, so 12, and then 2, and then first term is 2,750 plus 12 minus 1 times 250, and then you simplify. So 2 times 2,750 is 5,550. 12 divided by 2 is 6, and then 12 minus 1, obviously it's 11 times 250. Then you simplify more. So 11 times 250, that's 2,750, and then you add whatever is in the parentheses. Then you multiply it with 6 to get 49,500. His profit on the 12th week is 49,500 pesos. Okay, let's have this a little bit difficult problem. So this will really recall or review your basic knowledge on algebra. Okay, so the sum of the first two terms of an arithmetic series is 19, and the sum of the first four terms is 50. So there are no given sequence, but you only have the sum, okay, of the first two terms and the first four terms of the same sequence. So here, this is your S sub 2, or the sum of your first two terms, and then the sum of your first four terms. And then these are the two formulas. So do not confuse your mind if you're seeing t sub 1 or t sub n. So it's the same as saying a sub 1 as a and a sub n. So it's just a. I used a and then I forgot to change this one. So we're going to use this one since we don't have enough details regarding this formula. So for us to answer the first question here, what are the first four terms of the series, we need to look for the first term and the difference, right? So for us to look for the difference, we need to get the difference using this formula here. So this is the sequence. 19 is equal to 2t sub 1 plus d for this one, since this is your first sum of your first two terms. So the s sub 2 is 19 is equal to your n here, it's just 2 over 1 or 2 over 2, so it becomes 1, right? Since there are two terms only, and then 2 then plus 2t sub 1 plus or 2a sub 1 plus d, and then the other side your s sub 4 is, or the sum of the first four term is 50, which is equal to your n, which is 4, yes, and then 2 divided by 2, and then 2a sub 1 or t sub 1, then n minus 1 times d. If you simplify that one, 4 divided by 2, that's 2, and then you multiply it inside, so this one becomes 3, and then you multiply it by 2, so it becomes 6. This one becomes 4. For us to combine these two, we need to multiply something for them to get the same. This one for that term to have a similar coefficient. So we need to make it 4. So if you multiply, remember the MPE, right? So multiplication property of equality. You multiply something, whatever on the left side, then you also have to multiply that thing on the right side. So if you multiply this one, it just becomes 38 plus equal to 40 sub 1 plus 2d, and then they now become the same, right? 40 sub 1, and then you combine. Also subtract also for them to eliminate. For us to eliminate this one. So the resulting difference is negative 4d, right? Which is equal to negative 12. And then you divide both sides by negative 4. And then your difference is 3. So for us to get the first term, we need to substitute the difference here. So 3. And then combine it on the other side, becomes 16, and then divide both sides. Therefore your t sub 1 or your first term is 8. Then for us to get the remaining 3 terms, we add more 3. 8 plus 3, it becomes 11. 11 plus 3, it becomes 14, and then 14 plus 3 becomes 17. So therefore your first 4 terms of the series is 8, 11, 14, and 17. And then what is the sum of the first 20 terms? Okay, so this one, the same method, since you don't know the last term, so the same formula will be used. So your n is 20, and then your first term is this one, a sub the 8. Then your n is 20, and the difference is same, 3. Then substitute, then you simplify. So 20 divided by 2, that's 10. 8 plus 20 minus 1, that's 19 times 3, 57, right? And then you add, you get, this one is 65 in the parentheses, and then you times 10, you have 650. Right? So therefore, the sum of the first 20 terms is 650. Okay, so if you want to answer or practice the skills, you can have these following items. So I didn't provide the answers, but you may comment or you may PM me. Comment in the chat box in case you need the answers. If you want a more complex problem, you can have this set of problems as well. Thanks for watching.